they didn't permit it, and they worked on getting that clause renewed. And we have them also to thank for what's transpired here tonight. We have a resolution.
In the back end of Academy Hill and so forth, the communications has always been very dead in that area. So and that's one of the reasons the county wants to be there.
So. Thank you, David. I have an area here under old business, open meetings law and public comment. I'd like to bring that right up front while we're still in public comment. There are some misconceptions with respect to public comment at a public meeting. As the law points out, residents have a statutory capability to speak at a public meeting. There is no constitutional right. And I'd like to read from several sections of the law, bear with me, so we can get this straightened out. There is no state law. This is from Department of State Committee on Open Government. I have 4 letters that go back to 1997 and the most recent 2004. There is no state law of which I am aware that focuses on the issue. While the Open Meetings Law clearly provides the public with the right to observe the performance of public officials and attend and listen to the deliberations and decisions that go into making public policy, the law is silent with respect to public participation. Consequently, by means of example, if a public body does not want to answer questions or permit the public to speak or otherwise participate at its meetings, I do not believe that it would be obliged to do so. On the other hand, the public body may choose to answer questions and permit public participation, and many do so. Although public bodies have the right to adopt rules to govern their own proceedings, the courts have found in a variety of contexts that such rules must be reasonable. In my view, the issue of this instance involves the reasonableness of the rules and the extent to which disruption or distraction may occur when those who attend meetings seek to express their views through the presence of signs. They were talking about signs in particular. It goes on to say, based on the foregoing, I believe that the board could clearly adopt rules pursuant to paragraph 63 of the town law to prevent verbal interruptions, shouting or other outbursts, as well as slanderous or obscene language. Similarly, I believe that the board could regulate movement in order to preclude interference with meetings. The second letter, while individuals may have the right to express themselves to speak, I do not believe that they necessarily have the right to do so at meetings of public bodies. It is noted that there is no constitutional right to attend meetings of public bodies. Those rights are conferred by statute. Within the language of the Open Meetings Law, there is nothing that pertains to the right of those in attendance to speak or otherwise participate. Certainly, a member of the public may speak or express opinions about meetings or about the conduct of public business before or after meetings to other persons. However, since neither the Open Meetings Law nor any other provision of which I am aware provides the public with the right to speak during meetings, I do not believe that a public body is required to permit the public to do so during meetings. Certainly, a public body may, in my view, permit the public to speak. And if it does so, it has been suggested that rules and procedures be developed that regarding the privilege to speak that are reasonable and that treat members of the public equally. From my perspective, a rule authorizing any person in attendance to speak for up to 5 minutes on agenda items, and those items only, would be reasonable and valid so long as it is carried out reasonably and consistently. There are 4 letters, and I'm just quoting parts of them. From my perspective, any rules could serve as a basis for preventing verbal interruptions, shouting, or other outbursts, as well as slanderous or obscene language or signs. You heard that one before. A public body's rules pertaining to public participation typically indicate when, during a meeting, that is at the beginning or the end of a meeting, for a limited period of time, before or after an agenda item or other matter is discussed by a public body. If you choose to adopt the rules as described above, It is suggested that they be read or distributed to those in attendance at the meeting. If the rules are not heeded, it is suggested that you contact a local law enforcement agency. Often the presence of, or possibility of the presence of an officer will encourage decorum. If a person continues to interrupt, I believe that you could ask the officer to remove the person or persons from the meeting. In the town law, the town board has the right to promulgate rules of procedure for the orderly conduct of its meetings and for the proper management of the business and affairs of the town. The town board may invite and permit residents of the town to participate therein, so long as such participation is orderly and constructive and does not interfere with the business and purpose of the meeting. Town board meetings are business meetings. To carry out its purposes, the town board may prepare and circulate an agenda limiting the time and scope of the discussion by persons attending such meetings. This department has stated that in general, the public is free to attend regular town board meetings, but does not have a right to speak at a town board meeting except as provided by board rules. The town board may adopt rules and procedures limiting discussion of matters before the board. So that deals with the public comment at board meetings. And I hope that we can agree to disagree. And I hope that any discussion in the period of public comment is done with a degree of decorum and respect for both the members of the town board and the members of the community. There's an additional item with respect to filming. In my opinion, the same analysis would apply to recordings of conversations between and among the public during those portions of the meeting when the public body removed itself into executive session. The town board could restrict the use of recording devices in the meeting room during that particular period, unless the individuals being recorded clearly consent to being recorded. So I would hope that we don't have a repeat of the instance where, while the town board was in executive session, there was filming of individuals, attending the meeting. That's obviously not to be accepted at this point. When the town board is in executive session, the meeting is in recess, and filming should cease. Bill?
All right. I don't know who you're quoting. I mean, you read this guy's quote in his opinion. I didn't hear who's the
Robert Freeman, who heads up the.
All right, so that's not based on law. That's in his opinion. He's the head of,
I read you what is in town law.
Right.
I read
right.
that.
I'm just wondering why you take so much time to